So you did mention something, and I know that you have preached this a lot in your past, and it's the model of having an audience, and then with that audience, you can do whatever you want. You know, how does the modern musician get an audience? Because all right, because some of them think because they have an X amount of followers on Instagram that they have that many people who are following them. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about the importance of a fan base? What actually is your fan base, and what are some ways that we can increase our room, our space, our occupancy for more fans?
That's a great question. So it starts with what you just said, Keith, which is, and this is what I teach my students: without an audience, nothing's possible. But with an audience, anything is possible. And it can look totally different than what I'm doing or anybody else is doing. But the audience is the asset. The audience is the key. Your music isn't the asset. Your business idea isn't the asset. The audience is the asset for anything you want to do in anything in life. You need people who care. I mean, if you want to run for office, if you want to have a nonprofit, if you want to have a business, if you want to have a fan base, like it's always the people, right? So like even Netflix, the movies, no one's going to make movies for Netflix if there's no one subscribed to Netflix. We need eyeballs. It's all about people. So the key is that you need an audience. That's the most important thing. So audience building is the number one thing I'm doing. And it's the only thing that I even want out. Not that I won't outsource, but like, it's the one thing you can't get rid of in your business. There's a lot of activities you can get rid of. That's how I'm working so few hours a week, is I'm like, that's not necessary, but audience building never stops. So how do you build an audience? The only way to build an audience is to do something that people care about. And generally speaking, we could say add value to people. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, you have to kind of figure that out. It depends on who you're trying to reach and what would they find valuable. So for me, what I do is I was trying to help musicians record music. I thought, like, no one's going to pay attention to a guy like me unless I show up online and have the most helpful YouTube videos, period. How to EQ a kick drum, how to use Pro Tools, what microphone do I need? Do I need expensive gear? How do I build a home studio on the cheap? Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to make what I think is the most helpful videos, so that if I'm lucky enough that somebody finds one of my videos and that's all they ever watch, they don't click on anything else, they don't watch anything else, they walk away saying, dude, not only was that not a waste of time, because most videos and most content is a waste of time, literally, but this was like super life-changing, even in a small way. I learned one little thing, or I was encouraged, or this guy made me believe that I can do it, or he told me that I don't need $1,000 microphone. Like, sometimes people just need a little bit of encouragement to feel like, okay, I can do this. And that's what I feel like I'm trying to do in my videos. That is me adding value to somebody. So they go, I don't know who this Graham guy is, but that was really helpful. And I'm trying to do that in the business space as well. People land on my videos and I want them to go, dude, this guy's telling me to stop hustling. This guy's telling me I can grow my business while working fewer hours. This is crazy. And that's another element to content as well, is stand out, like be polarizing, say things like, I'll make fun of expensive equipment on the recording revolution. I'll make fun of people who say you need to have, an outboard summer for your box, like an analog summing mixer. Like, I'll make fun of anything, whatever's trendy and expensive and is deemed necessary for pro recordings. I'll call it out and make fun of it. Because I really believe that it's BS and you don't need that. But B, I'm really trying to both irritate people who spend money on expensive equipment, and then, which will alienate me from them, which is good. But then I'm really trying to bolster my fan base of people who feel like all I can afford is $100 interface and $100 microphone, but I feel like I can't get a professional recording, and I want to bolster them so they realize they can. So say polarizing things, but show up and add value. So I do that in teaching. You can do that through entertainment. You can do that through, which is, straight up with your music. You can do that through motivation and encouragement. You can do that through like anything that, like, when people watch it or engage with it, it was worth their time and makes their lives a little bit better. So I'm using tools like YouTube primarily. I do a podcast. I have blog posts as well. Social media can help, but then here's the final piece of this is, you mentioned it, followers on Instagram or followers on any platform. I'm like, it was one of my polarizing things. Like, I think social media is relatively pointless. I think it's very helpful to engage with people, stay top of mind with your audience, and they're fun platforms. But I don't think people understand how transient social media is. You continue to see people move from platform to platform. It was MySpace, but nobody remembers what MySpace was, but that was like the thing. Like, and then Justin Timberlake like invested in MySpace. Like
Right.
it was Facebook, and everybody's leaving Facebook. It was Instagram, and it's TikTok, or it was Snapchat before that. Like, eventually people are going to move. So you have to keep, now it's Clubhouse. You got to be in all the things.
Yeah.
And it's transient. Also, all these are just gatekeepers that control the algorithm. So, I mean, I had 100,000 followers on Facebook. And then when Facebook completely changed the game and said, you know what, we're going to make people have to boost their posts if they want their followers to see their posts, which is ridiculous, because that was the whole point of people chose to follow me. And now they don't see me unless I pay Facebook. These are my followers, and I can't, they can't see my stuff. My web traffic dropped in half overnight when that happened, when it went from 100% people seeing it to only 13 to now on Instagram, like 3 to 4% of your followers actually see what's in your feed. It's crazy. So the problem is a gatekeeper can change the rules on you at any point. Yeah. And then the other problem is to get someone to like something or follow you, it takes no commitment. They could be your super fans, but most of them, like, it takes no commitment whatsoever. So they're just like lurking and watching what you're doing. Mm-hmm. A real fan is someone who's given you their email address. And this is what I'm telling everyone to do. I've been telling them to do it for 12 years, and they think I'm crazy. But like, the email list is the most important thing you could collect, more than followers on any platform. It doesn't matter. And there's two reasons. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the two big ones that come to mind are, that's a much more engaged fan. Like, when someone's giving you their email address, they're saying, hey, follow up with me. So you get a higher quality group of people. And then two, you can literally directly email them. There's no middleman. There's no gatekeeper. You can go right to their inbox. Now, whether they open it or see it, you can't control that. But there's no like Facebook in between you and them. And people don't change their email address. The statistics of people who change their email addresses are really, really low. And this is what I'm teaching people in the online space is, if you ever want to sell anything, including your album or your merch or tickets to your show, and they let you do shows again, or whatever you're doing, or your live stream, if you want to sell it to live stream, people are comfortable buying through email marketing. They're not nearly as comfortable buying on social media. Like, the stats are just staggering. Like, people are still buying through, they get an email, oh, Graham's new album's out. I'll check it out and I'll buy it. Oh, Keith is doing a live stream. It's $5. They see the email, they're used to interacting there. On social media, they'll see it and they'll forget, oh, that sounds cool, but they won't actually engage and buy nearly as much as an email. So the key is, whatever you want to do, you have to build an audience every day. You want to build an audience by adding value. And so you have to know what your audience would find valuable. You want to be polarizing and be true to who you are. You don't have to be everything to everyone. I love the Kevin Kelly concept, the 1,000 true fans. Like, if you have you don't need millions of followers. If you have 1,000 super fans who love everything you do, will follow you anywhere, buy whatever you have. If 1,000 people paid you $100 a year or $8 a month, you have $100,000 business. So it's just, you just need 1,000 people. So you want those super fans, and ideal is to get their email address, so then you can contact them whenever you've got something new happening, free or paid. And that's how you build that loyal tribe that will follow you to whatever else you're doing next.